Okay, let's go live on Facebook. Go live. Preparing to live stream the meeting. Okay. Hey, Josh, we are live.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Okay, everyone who's joining, thanks for joining. We are running another live stream here. I got Josh Miller, my buddy, marketing guru, and AI extraordinaire, at least for real estate investors and developers. And so anyway, if you joined last week, you know that we talked about a cold calling service. This has been one of those things that I've been really interested in, but then at the same time, the tech wasn't really there and working that smoothly over the last however many months. And Josh, we've been doing these updates weekly, and he said that, hey, there's this bland.ai that has actually got a service that's pretty legit. So anyway, we talked about it last week, instructed people, or I guess put it out there that you can go kind of check it out on your own. And I got a lot of feedback saying people, how do you use it? How do you set it up? And I just was telling people, go figure it out. But I think today, Josh is going to do kind of a bit of a demo, right, Josh?
Yeah, so that's what we talked about. I'll just step through it step by step. So hopefully everyone can just follow along and figure it out. And yeah, I'm not so sure that this tech is that much better than anything else. But what's different is there's companies like Air, AI, and some others that bring their service, but minimum was like, I forget exactly, but it was like 35K to 100K in order for it to sign up and set up. With this, there's no setup and it's stupid cheap. It's like, basically 10 cents a call. So it's very affordable. And just to recap last week, I still don't think that it's better than a VA. If you can hire a VA, or obviously if you can do it yourself, it's going to be better. A VA is going to be next best. But if you simply cannot lift your phone up or make, the necessary steps to make the required calls, this is better than nothing. This is a million times better than nothing. And so that's why we're stepping through this. And also, like, the more you practice with it, the better you get. Now, when it is perfect, which it'll be far better than perfect, it'll be better than you or better than me, better than a VA in a very short period, you'll be ahead of the curve and you'll be knowing exactly how to utilize it. So it's good to practice and it doesn't cost you anything.
No, it's great. And actually, so going back to the 10 cents a call, and you'll probably get into this, but do you see people using this more for, just doing like blasts? Like if you had a list of 100 or 1,000 people, or is it, um, kind of onesie twosie type thing?
1000% it's for the blast because you'll see. Well, we're gonna go through it today. It's definitely not perfect and it has its mistakes. Sometimes it like completely drops a call. So you don't want to do these on your important calls. This is more like, hey, here's 500 businesses I've been meaning to reach out to. Okay, let's get these loaded and see what comes out of it. One good lead comes out of it. It just paid for your, 10 minutes worth of effort to put this together.
Exactly. Okay.
Cool. So let's go through it. I'll share my screen. I'm a little worried about the audio when we actually start testing it. So we'll see what happens. I might have to just share a tab because they're doing this through Zoom. So let me know if you can't hear me.
Okay.
But this is the one I was recommending. It's bland.ai. It came out about a month ago. It's incredibly easy to sign up. Doesn't cost anything to sign up. In fact, they give you $2 of free credits to test it out. And so what you're going to do is, I think we're just going to say build your custom agent. It's going to ask you, well, I'm already signed up, but the sign up is pretty simple. Put your name, your phone number, That's it. You're signed up. So now that
Okay.
you're in here, it's pretty simple to do. What we're going to do is we're going to do send bulk calls. Uh, the reason for that is we can upload a CSV file. You're going to have one column which has their phone numbers. That's really all you need. You're going to see in my example, and I'm just not sharing it because Facebook and YouTube and other places will take it down if they see personal information. So I can't share it, but just envision for yourself 3 columns, a phone column, an address column, and then I have a reason I'm calling them column. But if you want to keep it super simple, you could just literally have a phone. Actually, I have a phone, address, name, and reason. So I have 4 columns.
And
Uh,
do you need all those? Like, do you need a
no,
reason
no, you just need a
and
phone.
not a name because you could just be general
Yeah,
call, right? Yeah.
exactly. So just think of it as if you were calling, like obviously the more info you have, the better, but you could do this all with just a phone.
And then
Uh,
if you have the name, can you personalize, I
yep,
assume?
I'm going to show
Yeah.
you how to do that in this example. I just can't load my Excel sheet because I'll get in trouble with the social media lords. Here, let me see if I can open a new one. Um, Here, let me just stop sharing real quick. Open up a blank worksheet. Yeah, they're super picky, man. If you start sharing personal information, it gets taken down really quick.
Well, when
But
we
basically,
talked about doing this, I didn't realize, yeah, we couldn't really put actual data in
name,
there.
phone, I have address, and then I have reason, or I called it tags. Okay, so I have these 4 columns, and then obviously I loaded in a large list. If you have 10 or 1,000 or 10,000 people, it doesn't matter. So I think my first guy's name is Jose. His number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. His address is 1, 2, 3 Main Street, and his tags are, like a foreclosure, something like that.
Okay.
And then obviously it goes down from there. Very important that we're going to use these variables in it. So don't name them super crazy long because we are actually going to use these column names in a moment, and I'll share that with you. Okay, so once you've got your
So
Excel,
couple quick questions. So does it matter to have a last name? I mean, most lists that we get have first, last.
that's fine.
Okay. And then what about the address? A full address or just doesn't really matter?
I mean, it's gonna like in my example, you'll see we're gonna create it together, but it's gonna say, hey, are you interested in selling? And then the variable is address. So I don't really want them to say 1, 2, 3 Main Street in Las Vegas, in Nevada. I just want them to say 1, 2, 3 Main Street. So I would suggest keeping it, you could even just say Main Street. That way it sounds even better because you know people know they have a house and what the number is, and it sounds more real. So,
So
but
that's actually that's a good point. You got to be careful almost in giving it too much info, right?
uh, I mean, you'll see in the examples, we'll see how far we get in this call, but I gave it a lot of reasons and it never even brought them up. So it
Okay.
had, but it never felt like it needed to bring up the reason, maybe because on my test calls, uh, the person never specifically asked, why are you calling? Um, or what's your reason to target me, basically. But
Right.
we can go through all of that. It'll become more self-explanatory as we go along. So you're going to say send bulk calls. You're going to say get started. Now, here's really the only tricky part, and maybe where some of the folks that I said, hey, go and play with this last week got stuck. This is a prompt for the instructions you're giving to the AI. So the better the prompt, the better the call is going to be. Uh, the reason, like, this is really where the magic happens and why you should test call yourself quite a bit if you plan to use this in mass, because the better you can make this prompt, the better it's going to perform. And really, you're just thinking of it as a if you were to go hire a salesperson tomorrow, how would you train that salesperson? What would you tell them? Who you would tell them, okay, you're calling on behalf of uh, you know, Josh buys houses, you represent me, I'm a local real estate investor. The more you can give it, the better. How do you want them to talk? Well, you want to be friendly, you want them to be firm, you don't want to take no as an answer. However you want to train them. You can train them to be a very slick salesperson, and you could go find a very slick salesperson's like the Wolf of Wall Street or whoever, and say copy this person's personality and persona. Or you could just be like, hey, you're not a good salesperson. Really, it's all up to you. I think it's better, like just for the purposes of this, not to be salesy and more be of we're just you're calling on behalf, and you're a nice, friendly person that's just trying to gather some information and see if we might be a good fit, not trying to sell you on anything.
And
But
so
how
that could literally be your prompt.
Yeah, so the way I created the prompt, and I just brought up three examples, and actually I typed in before I did that, I said bland I think I said instructions or something, and it brought up a starter guide here, and it said making an awesome prompt, and it gave instructions on how to make an awesome prompt with an example prompt. So of course, what did I do is I just copied that and I pasted it into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you like to use. And I said, here, I'll show you exactly what I said. I said, I'm using third-party AI software that does cold sales calls. It uses AI voices, but it sounds real. I need to develop a prompt for my use case. I'm going to provide you with the instructions the software provider gave me, an example prompt that it gave me. Next, I'll give you my specific use case and how I want my prompt created for my use case. So obviously this could have all been written better, but whatever. Got the point across. Then I copied this from the previous page. I pasted that in. I gave it some and it spat out this. So we're just going to copy this and we're going to put it into the prompt. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy. Actually, I
So
look a
so
little further.
will bland AI come up with kind of the talk track on its own, or is it better to give it the talk track from something like ChatGPT?
Yeah, per its example right here, it says it is good to give an example prompt. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Prompt for a telehealth reminder phone call. So if you can see what prompt GPT did and what I asked Chat GPT to do, I said, hey, come up with an example prompt for a real estate investor. So that's what it did. So you can see here what it did. It said, okay, you are a friendly yet persistent sales specialist named Alex, working for a local real estate investment company. I'm going to add something like called Josh Buys Houses. Your primary objective is to engage homeowners in a conversation about their willingness to sell their property. You aim to identify motivated sellers, discuss the benefits of selling to an investor, and set up. See, ChatGPT wrote this. I didn't. And then context, it goes through. I'm not going to go through it. It gave it some character background. I mean, this is cool stuff, right? And then here it gave an example dialogue. So to your point, you may want to go through here and go through some example dialogue. Uh, so there you have it. I'm not going to go
That's
through
awesome. Yeah.
just showing that you don't have to be great at writing the prompt. You can use ChatGPT as an example. I'm going to change a few things though. So first of all, I'm going to upload the CSV file. So like I mentioned before, I have these 4 tags, and I'm going to add these specific tags. Now, sorry, 4 columns. into my script. So you are a friendly yet persistent sales specialist named Alex, working for a local real estate investment company called Josh Buys Houses. Your primary objective is to engage homeowners. I'm going to give it by name, by first name, and then I'm going to put that in here. So their name is name. So all you do,
Okay.
it's all like, oh, wow, now he's a coder. The opposite is true. I'm not. All I did was I used these two squiggly lines. So it's the ones next to P on my keyboard.
Okay.
I don't even know what they're called. A real coder would know. And then I close it out with two of those things as well.
Okay.
So in a conversation about the willingness to sell a property at, and then I'm going to put address. I think I need to do two, address. I hope I'm doing this right. I might not be. It might just be one, but we'll see in a minute. Actually, let me copy this all. Yeah, it is two. Okay. Your aim to identify and motivate sellers, discuss motivated sales, discuss the benefits of selling to an investor, set up appointments between potential leads and your client, the investor. And I'm just going to add this. It's definitely not needed. Tags. Oops. Represent the reason we are calling this particular homeowner. Now, this is not like, I'm not saying do this. I'm literally in here just showing examples. This is not a great prompt, but it's hopefully giving everyone the idea of what to do. Okay, hit
Yeah,
next.
it actually is a good prompt, but yeah, definitely not telling anyone what to do. This is just as an example.
Yeah. There's different voices. We go over here somewhere. I saw a list of like the voices and what the different voices sound like. I don't know where it's at. But I'm just for this, I'm just gonna randomly choose one. So my name's Josh, so let's use Josh. I haven't actually listened to this one. Okay, hit next. We're gonna do English. We're gonna do test mode. So what test mode is it's gonna call the phone number that you provided instead of the actual calling them. And the reason for that is I really want to make sure I work through that prompt before I didn't want to give my real phone number, so I just created this a few seconds ago and I got to write it down. 657-204-0428. Okay. Obviously, if you're testing this yourself, you would just put your cell phone here.
Right.
All right, hit next. Looks like it's good to go, so let's test it out.
And dispatch is that it goes to work.
Yeah, I might need a one there.
This is like a Google Voice number.
Yeah. I just signed up for it. Maybe I didn't configure my Google Voice number right. If not, I'll just go to some call logs and share some call logs.
You could you could probably put mine in there. Mine's all over the internet anyway.
Okay.
Or
Let's just
yeah.
make sure it worked. Oh, here we go. That's why it's not working. A field named phone number is required. Click one of these columns if they contain phone number data. There we go. So that's why it wasn't working. So now it'll work. Okay, so I guess after you load your file, you have to come down here to call data and select which column is the phone number. All
Okay.
right, here we go. So now we can dispatch and let's see how it sounds.
May I please speak with Jose Hernandez?
This is Jose.
Hi, Jose. My name is Alex. I'm calling from Josh Five Houses, a local real estate investment firm. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Jose, I'm giving you a call because we came across your property at 3533 Round Valley Way, and we're curious if you've ever considered selling it.
Now's not really a great time.
No problem at all. I understand you're busy. Would you mind if I ask what's making it inconvenient? There's no pressure. I'm just curious if there's any challenges with the property that makes selling it an option worth exploring.
Uh, well, I mean, there's no roof on it right now. We need to replace the roof.
See, that makes perfect sense. A new roof can definitely be an expensive repair. As
Wow.
one of the advantages we offer homeowners is relieving them of property repairs or renovations like that. If you sold to us ASIC, we'd cover the cost of fixing up the roof and any other issues before reselling. Would you have any other challenges with the property that we
Wow.
can really help solve through a quick cash sale?
Um, no, I just want to, yeah. So anyways, I could keep going.
Wow.
There
No,
you go.
that's amazing. How he takes whatever you give it and kind of, talks about the roof. I mean, obviously the delay is, most people are gonna like be onto that delay pretty quick, but the responses are amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the responses are amazing and you can really perfect it. What do you do? I didn't really get into that, but that would be very important is what do we want to do, once we got a lead? Okay, let's try to, set up an appointment or what do you want to have happen, right? So you definitely want to include that. But how long did this take us? How long has this call been? It's not
No,
been that,
it's amazing. I mean, like you said, I think before we started, you were saying, 10 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
you can do a little more research and obviously you want to, kind of get your list honed up, but maybe a half hour to get the whole thing, really, really rolling.
Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. Now that I was actually, I'm impressed. I was kind of surprised that it sounds like it could basically go in any direction, which is obviously the value of the AI versus, leaving a voicemail or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, just for the fun of it, let's take it a completely different direction. Yeah, I mean, that's the danger of this thing. It's really fun. Let's see.
I'm also wondering if there's, an accent, a female voice, there's probably some for the purpose of outbound, real estate related stuff.
Yeah, this is Josh.
Hi, Josh. This is Alex calling from Josh Five Houses. How are you doing today?
Not good at all. I really don't want to talk to you.
I understand this isn't the most convenient time. Is there a better time I could give you a call back to discuss your property?
Which property?
The property located at 3533 Round Valley Way. We're reaching out to homeowners in the area who may be interested in selling their home to us for cash.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Hey, ask him why there's a delay.
I think we
I'm
broke.
I'm saying him as if it's a person. All right, well I think that's it, Josh. Let's wrap this up, but that's pretty impressive, pretty amazing. For those of you on the live, hope you enjoyed that, but if you were wondering, that was not a real person on the other end. That was bland AI. But anyway, so that's how you set this up, and we will see you next week on the next live stream with Josh Miller, and we're going to be going through other AI tools and technologies for the real estate investor and developer. That's it for now.
Cool. See you next week.
And let me stop